zone. He looks down the middle. He fires, and the ball is caught in the back of the end zone by Danny Amendola. Touchdown, Patriots! He made the grab. One to the right. Low snap to Bortles. Backs up, pressured by Harrison. Bortles runs up and throws deep downfield, and the throw is knocked away by Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore leaving his feet.
Play the game.
Robert Kraft, along with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, have their 27th playoff win and their 8th conference championship together, and they're bound for Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. The final score, the Patriots 24 and the Jaguars 20.
All right, the radio calls there from Bob Sochi, the voice of the New England Patriots, as they are on to their 8th Super Bowl appearance in the Brady-Belichick era.
What's 52 divided by 8? Wow, sorry. Didn't mean to throw that on you. So basically 1 every 6 or 7
I majored in English, so I'm sorry.
You know what? Just move on.
Why is this dead silence for a reason?
Who is this guy?
Right? It's not math and science. Come on, what's wrong with you? All right.
Some coaches do treat it like
I'm
that.
trying to tell you. Fighting for a shot to face the Patriots in Super Bowl 42, the Vikings and the Eagles. Vikes came out to a hot start, 7-0. Touchdown on their opening drive and a touchdown on their second drive as well. It just ended up in the hands of Patrick Robinson. And he goes all the way across the field.
Defense knows whenever you score on defense, your chances to winning skyrocket.
Yep.
When you get a defensive touchdown.
Pick 6 for Patrick Robinson. Was 7-7, now 24-7. Eagles pouring it on at this point here in the third quarter. A little flea flicker.
That's a big time catch right there, Charles.
And throw.
Way to lull him to sleep, too.
Didn't he? That was
a lot of wide receivers, when you put in plays like that, you rush it, get down the field, you got to make a tough catch, they break it up. Torrey lulled him to sleep, and then went just like you draw it up.
I think he said, how's your family doing?
Was it all?
He said, I got you. Hey, don't worry, it's a run play. Chill.
38-7, and so the Eagles, with Nick Foles at the helm, complete their most impressive offensive performance of the season. As you can see, more yards than in any game this year, more passing yards, better third down percentage, and the third most points. An impressive outing. Also on defense, Chris Long was getting after Case Keenum, a big part of that pick 6, and our Stacey Dales caught up with Chris Long afterwards.
Chris, a year ago, you're playing for a Super Bowl. You win a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. Yeah. Why this team for you this year?
I knew we could be in this position. You know, there's a lot that has to happen to be in this position. But I knew we had the formula and the players and the coach, and that's what we're here. But you know, we got more to do.
What's it going to take to beat your former team in a few weeks?
It's going to take the best game we ever played. Those guys are amazing players. Best quarterback of all time, best coach of all time. I got a lot of respect for them. I know what they're about, so it's going to be a tough game.
Lastly, this city has never won a Super Bowl. Doug Peterson, hell of a job he's done. Why is this team so special, Chris? Because
Doug sets the tone every day to be panic-free, unflappable, and that's what we needed. We lost a Hall of Fame left tackle, starting quarterback, core special teams guy, middle linebacker. The list goes on. A lot of teams would have folded, not a team with the guys we have and the coach we have.
All right, Chris Long there with Stacey Dales. How about Travis Kelce, proud of his brother Jason, city of brotherly love. There you go. I wonder if the Kendricks brothers had a similar Instagram photo as we head to Philadelphia and Lincoln Financial Field and welcome in our pal, James Palmer. So, James, look, let's say Doug Peterson 2 years ago when his return to a familiar setting there in Philly as their head coach didn't quite have the same bells and whistles as, let's say, John Gruden's return to Oakland. Wasn't the flashiest of hires, but it's not about headlines, right? It's about results, and he's winning that battle.
Yeah, I think the headlines are winning the battle right now alongside the results now that we see that they are now making a Super Bowl appearance. And just Doug Peterson's second season. Last night, got to enjoy this with his mom, with some friends, family. Hit the sheets about 2 a.m. after beating and annihilating those Minnesota Vikings. And it's a lot of what Doug Peterson has done over the course of this past season. The jump that Carson Wentz made in year number 2. What he's done in preparing his players, I think, is one of the biggest things. You guys talked about a little bit earlier, but he said today this was the calmest his team has been before a game this season. That speaks volumes considering this is the NFC Championship game. And a lot of it comes down to, and he said this today as well, how prepared he has felt his team has been heading into each one of these games this season. He said they haven't gone into a game where they felt they weren't properly prepared to win that game. And obviously going 13-3 during the regular season, going through all of the obstacles you heard Chris Long say, and then all of the pieces that came here in year two. You look at the touchdowns that they scored: Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, LeGarrette Blount, Patrick Robinson. These guys were not on this team last season. A lot of additions there and a big jump for Doug Peterson in year two.
And he does it like he was as a player with a backup quarterback there with Nick Foles, who, obviously had plenty of criticism after the way they finished the regular season. I think Doug Peterson was even fielding questions about whether he'd have a quick hook on Nick Foles in the playoffs. and here he goes and he leads, right? You know what I mean? I mean, like this is pretty astonishing, the way that he was able to lead the Eagles to their best offensive performance really of the season. Does he feel like he's silenced the critics at all?
I think after that performance, I think Nick Foles does feel like he's silence the critics entirely, and he's one of these guys that does block a lot of that out. He doesn't pay attention to a lot of the outside noise. And actually, I talked to Fletcher Cox on the field after the game. He told me, I had a sneaking suspicion this week, and I didn't want to tell anybody, that Nick Foles was going to come out and absolutely ball out. That's what he saw from Nick Foles during this week of practice. And Corey Clement told me, their running back, who was part of that flea flicker, right, that was thrown in there, a rookie running back, part of a flea flicker in the NFC Championship game. He said, if we keep Nick Foles clean, we're going to be able to keep him in a rhythm. And happened during the Falcons game. They were able to keep him clean once again in this game. And it was interesting, after the course of the game, in the locker room, Nick Foles went up to Doug Peterson, said to him, do you remember, you're the only coach before the 2012 draft that came and worked me out. And Doug Peterson today did say that's maybe the groundwork of this relationship he has with Nick Foles. And I mentioned keeping him clean. Today, Doug Peterson did say that this was perhaps their best performance as an offensive line this entire season. Big V at the left tackle spot, filling in for Jason Peters, going against Everson Griffin. A monster performance for him, the young guy playing left tackle.
Yeah, really impressive the way the Eagles have bounced back from injuries all season long. James Palmer, live for us there from Lincoln Financial Field. Thanks very much, James. More to come here for you. He's got the most Super Bowl appearances of any coach in league history, the most Super Bowl wins of any coach in NFL history. Is he the best in NFL history? We'll answer that question next. Bill Belichick.
Before Super Bowl 52.
The New York Jets are the world champions.
Relive every game.
God makes a circus catch in the end zone.
He's gone! He's gone!
Every moment.
Williams, here he is.